Hi, I'm Theodore Henry. Today on the pages of Jamaica Magazine, we're talking about health as a priority. We'll also take you into the kitchen of Chef Randy Plummer as he prepares something that's guaranteed to get you into your own kitchen pretty soon. You can't afford to miss out on anything from today's show. It's all on the other side of this break.
Did you know that the EU has been doing a lot of work in Jamaica? The EU provided some 23 billion Jamaican dollars to help people living in sugar-dependent areas. This means new houses for sugar estate workers, rehabilitated roads, improved schools, health centers, vocational training, business grants, and a wide range of action to improve the lives of people in sugar-dependent areas.
Life sweeter for you with the EU.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, July 4. Negotiations are still ongoing for the planned upgrade of the state-owned oil refinery, Petrojam. Former Energy Minister Dr. Andrew Wheatley gave the update during a question and answer segment in Tuesday's sitting of Parliament. Dr. Wheatley says two Chinese firms submitted unsolicited proposals to upgrade the oil refinery's vacuum distillation unit, VDU. One of the firms, Sino-Hydro, was recommended by a technical team from PDVSA and the Jamaican government. Sino-Hydro submitted two estimates, one for $91.3 million, which was based on Chinese standards, and a $119 million estimate based on Western standards.
As at June 2018, negotiations are still underway. No agreement has yet been signed, and no money has been spent with Sino-Hydro to undertake any work relating to the upgrade of the VDU at Petrojam.
Minister Wheatley says in April a U.S. firm also submitted a proposal for an estimated cost of $87.6 million plus or minus 30%. But the PDVSA GOJ task force is reviewing that proposal to ensure it accounts for all pertinent factors.
I am advised that to date, the review of the U.S. engineering firm's estimate unearthed some deficiencies which have been acknowledged by the firm, and the task force is now awaiting an updated estimate from the U.S. engineering firm in order to complete validation.
The heads of government of CARICOM are expected to deliberate on a report from the Regional Marijuana Commission during their meeting in Montego Bay between today and Friday. The report from the Commission, which was established in 2014, examines the pros and cons and makes recommendations on legalizing marijuana. At a press conference Monday, CARICOM Secretary General Erwin LaRocque said the Commission encouraged the decriminalization of marijuana for recreational use and freeing up its use for scientific purposes. But he was quick to add that though the Commission supported easing restrictions, it still abided by international trade laws and statutes which prohibit the trade in marijuana.
The Commission will be making some very far-reaching recommendations in terms of decriminalization, in terms of moving towards regulation rather than as a controlled substance, such as we have for alcohol, and moving more and more into the area of tobacco. But recognizing the very important medicinal uses of marijuana as well.
The 39th meeting of the Conference of the Heads of Government of CARICOM is also expected to address the implementation of a single market and economy, crime, disaster management, and climate change. CARICOM Chairman Prime Minister Andrew Holness will also share the findings of a report from the Bruce Golding-led Commission to review Jamaica's relations within the CARICOM and CARIFORUM frameworks. Government is far advanced with plans to enact a raft of legislation to further develop the island's shipping and port industries. Transport and Mining Minister Robert Montego says the legislation will be in place by March 2019.
The government has before the Parliament the Ballast Water Act, and we will soon get into the Parliament the Maritime Environmental Protection Act and signing off on the Maritime Labour Convention.
The minister says government is also moving to enhance the security measures available to the island's ports.
In that drive of expansion, we are mindful of the need for security in this globalized world. And within the security realm, there is also the need to enhance cybersecurity.
Minister Montego was speaking at Monday's opening ceremony for the 21st Annual General Meeting and Conference of the Port Management Association of the Caribbean. The Caribbean Maritime University has launched its first ever academic journal since attaining university status on June 9, 2017.
Which will be no doubt quite useful to your members in determining the kinds of training programs you can participate in or advise your young students about available training opportunities.
The journal, entitled International Journal of Maritime Themes, was launched at the opening ceremony for the 21st Annual General Meeting and Conference of the Port Management Association of the Caribbean. Government has promised to be fair in its review of the 1983 Rent Restriction Act. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Carl Samuda, gave the commitment Tuesday at the 7th in a series of consultations on the act held at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel.
You have my 100% support as a minister with responsibility for this area in ensuring that whatever changes are made to this Rent Restriction Act is done so as quickly as possible.
Minister Samuda says the consultations are aimed at striking a balance between the rights and responsibilities of landlords and tenants. The Rent Restriction Act is being updated to provide effective regulation and clear guidelines on the roles and obligations of tenants and landlords. It's being undertaken by the Ministry's Housing Policy Research and Monitoring Branch in partnership with the Rent Assessment Board. And finally, the JCDC Festival Song Roadshow will be coming to residents in Papine, Crossroads, Olympic Way, Downtown, and Halfway Tree this Friday. The roadshow is part of activities leading up to the July 15 finals, booked for the Ranny Williams Entertainment Center. Culture Minister Olivia Grange made the announcement at last night's launch of the Jamaica 56 celebratory events, which will be held under the theme One Love, One Family. The Independence Festival Village returns this year at the National Stadium, opening on Wednesday, August 1. The week of celebration continues with annual events such as the Gospel Song and Miss Jamaica Festival Queen competitions, the World Reggae Dance Championships, and Kingston Reggae Night. On Independence Day, grand gala activities will be held in Kingston and Montego Bay. Minister Grange also announced a culinary expo from August 2 to 3 to boost the gastronomy sector.
Let us celebrate together, be proud of our achievements, and be confident in our purpose to continue to build a better Jamaica with our arts and culture at the center of our development.
Other activities planned include street dances, concerts, church services, and flag-raising ceremonies in towns and communities across the country. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Want to know the law pertaining to renting a house? What about the procedure if you're arrested? Or what is defined as corruption? Then click on the Ministry of Justice website. It has information on every law passed in Jamaica. The House of Parliament portal also has the more recent year's pieces of legislation. The sites are easy to search and the files are downloadable. Make access to justice your business. Know your rights.
Renewed justice. It sounds refreshing, right? Well, the Portfolio Minister, Delroy Chuck, promises to deliver a justice system of which all Jamaicans can start to accept and respect. Better facilities, technology for courtrooms, better case flow management, and ultimately, greater trust and confidence in our justice system. See for yourself what I'm talking about.
The new face of justice is taking shape. Justice is now within the grasp of every single Jamaican, irrespective of their station in life. Whether they're uptown, downtown, around town, rural, urban, rich, poor, man or woman, child or physically challenged. This year, Mr. Speaker, we are ready for takeoff to better justice facilities, more technology in the courts, more cases being completed, greater trust and confidence in the justice sector, and a justice system, Mr. Speaker, of which all Jamaicans can start to accept and admire.
The ministry, in partnership with the European Union, is spending over $846 million to expand the Court of Appeal. The new court will have 15 judges' chambers, 3 additional courtrooms, and a bigger registry. Other courthouses are being worked on to ensure cases can be dispensed with in a timely manner. The National Human Rights Institute will also be established this fiscal year. Meanwhile, more technology will be infused in the justice process. By April 2019, the days of handwriting court proceedings will be of the past. Hardware is being installed to enable digital audio recording and video link technology in 78 courtrooms island-wide.
This strategic investment in technologies will enable our judges to be more efficient and effective in the administration of justice.
Soon, too, Jamaicans will be able to witness live streaming of court proceedings while mobile justice gets rolling.
There will be mobile courts for vulnerable witnesses, as I pointed out, and the unit has already been purchased. Witnesses, Mr. Speaker, as I indicated, will be able to give evidence from remote locations. So there's no need now for witnesses to travel all over the island. If the witness lives in Spanish Town or in St. James or in Westmoreland, we can get a unit there, or we can interview, or they can be cross-examined or examined from that remote location.
In addition, a standard document and accompanying 5-year plan are being crafted.
This will be a significant development, as that document will guide the infrastructural agenda for the fiscal year 2019-2020 to 2020-2021.
The monetary penalties contained in various laws are being reviewed to ensure the fines suit the crime. The ministry's legal reform department is working with all ministries to review more than 850 laws of Jamaica.
Every ministry will now have to look at the penalties, showing the penalties that now exist, some of them $2, $100, $40, and make recommendations as to what the penalty should be. During the last fiscal year, we had a significant reduction in the case backlog. We achieved a 25% reduction in the backlog of cases, surpassing the 20% target.
But as the minister points out, that achievement also comes in an environment where there are cases in 2018 being put off until 2022.
We propose temporary judges to be engaged to focus on the backlog of cases in the courts.
Legislation will be brought before Parliament to amend the Constitution to allow retired judges to sit beyond age 70. The strategic work to reduce the backlog of cases, create a sound court infrastructure, and maximize available technology are among the main priorities for the Ministry of Justice in fiscal year 2018-19.
Your health should always be priority. And while maintaining a healthy diet is important to the process, staying aware of certain illnesses and diseases, especially creepers like sudden cardiac arrest, is also critical. Do you know what sudden cardiac arrest is, though? Can it even be helped without the presence of a medical practitioner? We're all about keeping you in the know, so watch this.
You're up and about, going through your routine activities. Suddenly, you collapse without warning. Your heart stops beating, and within seconds, you stop breathing. A quick check shows there's no pulse. All signs of sudden cardiac arrest. Sudden cardiac arrest, SCA, is a condition in which the heart unexpectedly stops beating. When this happens, blood stops flowing to the brain and other vital organs. The person may die if not treated within minutes.
So the way you decide if they're having sudden cardiac arrest is, in addition to seeing if they're conscious, calling to them and seeing if there's any response, you need to feel for a pulse. So you'd feel at the neck at the angle of the jaw, or you could listen for the heartbeat by putting your ear to the patient's chest. You need to see if they're breathing. So if they're not breathing, they have no pulse, then they're in cardiac arrest.
SCA is not to be confused with a heart attack, which happens when blood flow to the heart is blocked. However, a heart attack can lead to sudden cardiac arrest. Another way to look at it is, a heart attack is a circulation problem, while sudden cardiac arrest is an electrical one. The immediate cause of most SCAs is an abnormal heart rhythm as the electrical activities of the heart becomes chaotic and the heart is unable to pump blood to the rest of the body.
We're all at risk for sudden cardiac death, so we need to know our numbers and our status. What is your blood pressure? Do you know what your blood pressure is? Do you know what your cholesterol is? So we might be a walking time bomb and we don't know. It's not just people who appear healthy who are at risk. Somebody can be overweight and you say, oh, they're bound to drop down, but somebody who is slim can drop down as well. It just depends what the other risk factors are. So I just think the only way we can know is to know your numbers, know your status.
Among the conditions that trigger sudden cardiac arrest is coronary artery disease, a more common cause in persons over 35 years old. Also, cardiomyopathy, in which the heart muscle becomes enlarged or thick and weak, as well as inherited disorders that may cause parts of the heart to stretch and become weak. Other conditions include disorders of the heart's electrical system, as well as heart defects that were exhibited at birth. Persons who have a family history of sudden cardiac arrest or heart disease are also at risk. In contrast to elderly persons, cases of SCA is not prevalent in children.
But the children can be born with some types of heart disease that make them have a higher risk for sudden cardiac arrest. That is usually picked up if they have, sometimes at birth, because of the abnormalities, but even if they're corrected, they can still have an increased risk of sudden cardiac arrest.
Highlighted cases of SCA in student athletes in recent years prompted increased focus on evaluation for the physically active.
I would like to encourage all parents, if you have a child who is involved in any team sport, any physical activity, or even a lot of physical activity, even if they're not on a team, to please have your child checked. Carry them for sudden cardiac arrest screening. We have it at the Heart Foundation. We can come island-wide, or go to your GP and have your child tested.
A victim of sudden cardiac arrest can survive with the quick action of a bystander who is able to apply immediately cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR.
You will start resuscitative efforts, which would include compressing the chest in order to get the heart going. You may or may not breathe for them. Nowadays, it is not, a lot of bystanders balk at starting CPR because they don't want to put their mouth on the patient's mouth, and I mean, that's a real concern. Studies were done a couple years ago and they determined that compression-only CPR, so just pressing on the chest alone, is of value.
If available, an automated external defibrillator, AED, can be used within a few minutes to restore a normal rhythm to the heart. These may be available at certain places such as airports, stadiums, and other public and business places.
If someone has developed chest pain, they've grabbed their chest, they've sank down on the ground because they're having chest pain or they're not breathing properly, you don't start CPR for that. They need to get to medical attention immediately, but you would only start CPR if the patient is pulseless and not breathing.
Following that bit of first intervention, which must take place within the first 4 to 5 minutes of sudden cardiac arrest, the patient will need to be moved immediately to a hospital. The Ministry of Health since 1996 has been partnering with the Ministry of Local Government through the Jamaica Fire Brigade to expand its provision of pre-hospital service.
We recognize that transportation of patients to hospital is a vital part of the chain of survival. Certainly from the patient suffers an incident to the point at which they reach hospital and get care. The transportation to hospital is important, and not only in terms of the time that it takes, but also in terms of the support that is provided during that transport.
You're supposed to have a defibrillator on the ambulance. You're supposed to have basic drugs which a trained paramedic would be able to administer to continue advanced cardiac life support. And when they get to the hospital, which would have been alerted from the ambulance that we're bringing in a cardiac arrest victim, the team would be waiting at the door of the hospital to receive this patient.
Based on the value of CPR in saving a life, the Ministry of Health has been partnering with the Heart Foundation of Jamaica to encourage more Jamaicans to get trained in CPR. And this important life skill is everybody's business, so get trained and be ready to lend a hand when the need arises.
Are you searching for a new and creative breakfast idea that will also satisfy your taste buds? How about something that your child can help out with in the kitchen? Then watch as Chef Randy Plummer prepares a quick breakfast meal with the assistance of a young one.
Our next dish will be sardine and cheese fritter. The ingredients are simple. We'll be adding about ½ pound of flour. Then to that we'll add the sardine. Sapphire will be helping me to add them. And a bit of onions. And seasoning for taste. Basically, any cheese can be used, any one of your choice. Just a bit of baking powder.
And how many family members would that serve for?
This should serve up to 6 family members. So Sapphire will be incorporating all the ingredients now. Just stir them, Sapphire. And we'll add a bit of water. It's a very quick dish to make, and it's cost effective.
And how long does this take?
This should take no longer than 2 minutes. This dish is full or filled with a lot of calcium that comes from the cheese, and also omega-3 that comes from the sardine. And as we established before, that omega-3 is good for the heart. It prevents from heart disease. And that's basically it. We'll now move over to the fire. So basically what we'll be doing is just spooning a bit of the mixture into the fryer.
And how many per serving?
I would say 6. Give it a quick flip. And as you can see, it's almost done.
Wow, it really takes 3 minutes.
Even less than 3 minutes. So this is another quick and easy way to make breakfast. We're now joined by Balford Carr, and he'll be assisting in making the breakfast smoothie. The ingredients we'll be using for the smoothie are banana, which is a good source of potassium and vitamin C. We also have mangoes, which is also a good source of vitamin C, A and B. Pineapples, another good source of vitamins. We also have oatmeal, which is a good source of fiber. To add to that, we have milk. But if you are vegan, the substitutes for it is almond milk or coconut milk. We know kids don't like spinach, so what we're doing today is disguising the spinach in the shake. And fruits are said to disguise vegetables.
So what can you use instead of spinach?
You can substitute spinach with callaloo, kale, or string beans. Those are good sources of iron. That's a bit of syrup just to add color. Because you know, people eat with their eyes first, especially kids. So just to make this shake a bit more attractive or pleasant to the eye, appealing to the eye. If you don't have a NutriBullet, you can use a regular blender. Yeah, go ahead.
And can that be substituted for a meal?
Yes, it can. It has all the essential vitamins and nutrients.
Wow, the juice is looking lovely, Chef Plummer. So, as you said, this is a serving that you'd normally give to a child?
Yes, that's the recommended serving for ages between ages 5 to 11. It's recommended that they get about 8 ounces of juice in one night. So I think that's enough for them.
Okay.
Remember, your body is not going to process more nutrients than it needs, so that's enough nutrients for the body, just for the moment.
Okay. So how's it tasting, Sapphire?
Great.
You sure? Yes. Wow. Boy, I must say, you know, at first I was a bit skeptical about these meal ideas, especially the first one. But you see, quick and easy to prepare and also nutritious. Don't they look nice? Yes. Boy, I can't wait to start. Come on, Sapphire, join me and have. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Today we celebrate the life of a scholar, an athlete in his formative years, a soldier in the First War, an attorney and a politician. The Right Excellent Norman Manley was a man of many hats, and he wore them remarkably well. Today we celebrate his birth by reflecting on his past.
The national flag flies proudly beside the childhood home of the Right Excellent Norman Washington Manley, symbolizing his status as a national hero and his contribution to Jamaica's journey to nationhood. His involvement in the country's campaign to independence was rooted in his resentment of the lack of rights for the poor working class. N.W. Manley was the consummate statesman and politician, driven by his need to seek the welfare of the people. As leader of the People's National Party, he got his first taste of victory in 1955 when Jamaicans went to the polls. The national hero and chief minister left an extensive legacy. In addition to his role in obtaining universal adult suffrage in 1944, N.W. Manley also founded the National Workers' Union in 1952. 2 years later, in 1954, he led efforts to secure executive powers for elected representatives. Revered as the father of the nation, Manley was an inspiring leader who touched the lives of Jamaicans home and abroad, making an indelible mark internationally and in the region. In his final speech in 1969, he asserted that the mission of his generation was to accomplish political power for the black masses of the people from which he sprang. Mission accomplished, he declared. And having accomplished his mission, Norman Washington Manley died on September 2, 1969.
As always, we want to thank you for staying with us on Jamaica Magazine. If you missed anything from today's show, you can watch it all again on our website or our YouTube page. And don't forget to keep up with us via our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.